So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the diaspora, and welcome to another episode. I'm so excited because we're going to be doing a series on how to build properly. And I have Itwi here, who is a good friend and an architect. Hi, Itwi.
Hey,
good to
nice
see
to
you
be
again.
here. Same.
So, Itwi did a video with us about 2 years ago on I have land and property and where do I start building. So, we have recently done a project together, and I thought it would be really good to invite him back and talk about practically how you build and using my project as an example. So, like I said, this is going to be a series. I'll be doing another video with a Q&A with Itwi on building and giving you tons of information. So, don't go anywhere. If we haven't met before, my name is Natasha. I'm a director of Diaspora Connect, and on this channel, I give you information and inspiration on the Zambian real estate market to help you invest in property in a safe and reliable way. So stay tuned, guys. Don't go anywhere. This will be a really good one. So, Itwi, we just finished our project in Salama Park, 6 apartments, up to a great finish. No, bravo to you. So if you guys haven't seen that video, I did another video on those apartments with the contractor that we used, and we'll put a link in the description box below, but go back and have a look at that if you want to see the project that we're going to be talking about today. So today is going to be a kind of behind the scenes look at how those apartments were built so that it can give you some guidance and help if you're thinking about building or if you are building yourselves. All right, so Itwi, can you tell us the different stages of building? I know we're going to go through 8 stages.
Yeah.
Yes, so let's start with the first stage.
First of all, of course, we're assuming you have your approved drawings from your planning authority. You're now going to actually go on site. You've got your contractor and all that, and everything else, and all the necessary consultants on board. So the first thing you're doing is you're going to clear the site and secure it.
Right.
So as you'll see in the image, your site had all kinds of debris on it. It was actually used as a garbage dump.
Yeah, he's being really polite. It was actually trash. There was a lot of rubbish in my plot. Yeah, and we can see it here. It was actually really gross.
It was, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you notice, apart from, we can talk about your site, but generally on other sites it might be something different.
Yeah.
Because obviously the architect and the client would have agreed on where to site a house, and maybe a tree might have to be chopped down, or there might be some rocks that need to be blasted, all of that comes around, is covered by the clearing of the site.
Okay.
And then you also need to secure it because you're going to put materials on site, and you need to make sure that there's very little risk of pilferage.
Okay, yeah, that's so important. So that's stage 1. So we cleared the site, we secured the site by building that little shed that we have over there, and that's where we're storing a lot of our materials. Okay, so what's stage 2?
Stage 2 would then be the mobilization on site. This is where the contractor and his team go to the site, they take their equipment, and of course materials are now brought onto the site.
Yeah, which is why we need to make sure we've got somewhere to secure them.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right, great.
Stage 3 would be the setting out. This is where the contractor will mark out on the ground where the building or buildings will stand.
Okay.
And then of course the architect needs to come in and approve the position before they go on to the next stage.
Okay, so that's why we can see this timber over here.
Yes.
Is that part of the marking out, the setting out?
It is, yes, because they use that to pull strings across the site, and it's a bit technical.
Okay, all right. No, I don't want technical, not too technical.
Okay.
All right, good. So we have now set out where the structure is going to be on the plot. What do we need to do after that? What is stage 4?
Once that's done, we break ground. Toast some champagne.
And toast the champagne, which we didn't do, but anyway.
We didn't do it well.
So stage 4 is
which is the excavation.
Okay.
Basically, yes. They'll now excavate the foundation trenches to the depth that is specified on the drawings.
Okay. So what do you mean the depth? Does the depth matter?
Yes, it does. Because there are different types of foundations. I won't go into all of that, but then depending on what kind of structure it is, and there'll be different specifications either by the architect or by an engineer.
Oh, okay.
So the depth will vary according to those specifications
All right.
and details.
And so because on this project we were going double story,
Yes.
so I assume we also went
We went deeper,
deeper.
yes, because of the type of foundation that the engineer specified
Okay.
required us to go deeper, and it also required certain reinforcements in the foundations as well as the foundation walls, which are the next stage.
Okay. Now there was the premix
Yes.
for the concrete.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just using lay people's language.
You very well, actually. I'm impressed.
So tell us about that side of things.
Well, when the foundations are poured, like I just mentioned, there's some reinforcements that go in there. You have the option of having the foundation mixed manually.
Okay.
The mixture of that's concrete, water, sand.
Oh, okay.
And the other option is where it comes pre-mixed
Okay.
by a company that just comes and
Pours it
pours
in.
it in.
Right.
Yes.
And we went with the premixed option, isn't
Yes.
it? Okay. Do you think there's an advantage to that?
Speed
Right.
more than anything.
Yeah.
It's quicker to do, but both methods work, and also it depends on the scale.
Okay. Can you just say something about this next image that we're looking at? Because this is also part of the foundation,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Yeah.
Once the concrete has been allowed to cure, that's to harden and to be ready for the construction to continue, foundation walls are built on the
Right.
concrete footing,
Okay.
and that's what we're looking at there. And generally, they are solid walls which will support the structure under the ground.
Okay. All right. And that's what's called the box.
The box is that plus the floor slab,
Oh, okay.
which is
All
the
right.
next thing that comes in.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned the floor slab. Is this what we're looking at over here?
That's it.
Okay.
So on the, of course, there's a lot of other work that goes on behind, outside of what I've mentioned. There's ant proofing, there's damp proofing, and so on. Then the floor slab comes on top of the foundation, and that basically concludes all the work for the foundation,
Okay.
if you would.
All right.
And then after that, everything is now above ground, and you're ready to see. You want to see your house,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yeah. You mentioned something really important when we were discussing this topic, which was building during the rainy season. You
Yes.
know, you said something really interesting, and I just want you to share it with the people watching.
Yes. Well, basically, a lot of people try to avoid building in the rainy season. They want to get started before it starts raining. However, the rain actually helps you with the curing of the concrete when you're doing your foundations, because you need to keep watering. If you don't have the rain, you're going to have someone manually keep pouring water on your foundations and so on. But if the rain is there, you get really good foundations and slabs.
Yeah, so I didn't know that, because I was like everybody else thinking that no, we'll build
Wait
before
till
the
the rain
rains,
is
or
on.
we'll wait
No,
until it's
no.
finished.
And the way our rain is here, you get dry spells, which
Right.
allows you generally to get quite a bit of work done before the rain hinders any progress.
Yeah. So one thing, sorry, I do want to take you back. Can you talk about how long it took us to clear the site?
About 3 days.
Okay, all right. Which was actually more than we had planned.
We hadn't even planned because we didn't realize the extent of the debris that was on site.
That's a really good point. I want to talk about that in
Yeah.
the next video. Okay, and then what about the stage of marking out, setting out, sorry. How long does that take?
That
How long did it
depends.
take us? Yeah.
Okay, well, 2 questions. It depends on the size of the structure,
Of course.
and in your case, it took a day.
Okay.
The contractor had marked it out pretty much
Okay.
in a day.
Good, good. And to get to the level of box with all the reinforcements?
Oh, I didn't carry my notes.
I put you on the spot.
Yes, you have. I think that took about a month
Okay, all right.
total.
Yeah, that goes to show how much work actually went into it.
Yes.
Yeah, because
It took
sometimes
a
we
lot of
think that the foundation will be really fast.
No.
Yeah.
It was quite. It took a lot because of all the foundations and the reinforcements. Also for the pillars, since we're going 2 stories.
Yes.
The engineer also had to come and check that. All the steel had to be fabricated, tied, and all that kind of thing. So.
To go on.
The next stage, stage 5, is the walls, and basically the walls. We're talking about the walls starting from the slab.
Yeah.
We've forgotten about the foundation walls for now. And these walls go all the way up to wall plate level, which is basically where your roof sits.
Oh, okay.
Now, as the walls come up, obviously there are openings, doors, windows, and such. The architect obviously has to verify these and make sure that the support above these openings is to requirement.
Okay.
And the walls generally come up really quickly.
Yeah, that's
and
the part everybody likes.
gets excited.
Yes.
I built my walls, and then yeah.
So, but I just want to point out something really important that you just said, which is that the architect has to supervise where the openings are,
Yes.
so that they're properly placed, properly reinforced. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I could just throw in something else, there's also a setting out that's done before the walls come up.
Oh, okay.
Similar to what was done with the setting out on the ground.
Yes.
After the slabs go in, the contractor will just place blocks in the areas and the positions where the walls are supposed to go. And so that's verified before the walls come up. So you don't, by the architect, so you don't have a situation where you have rooms that are too small, tight passages, and so on.
Right, okay, yeah, so that's really critical actually, because it sounds like you really need that architectural involvement
Absolutely.
to make sure it is as you have envisioned it to be. Okay, so the walls have come up in stage 5. What happens in stage 6?
Stage 6 is the roofing.
Okay.
Yeah, the crown. There are different types of roofing materials, obviously. And again, depending on the design, you can go with timber, steel. Even with steel, there are different types. There's heavy duty steel I-beams and that kind of thing. And then after the steel trusses have been put in, either a complex truss or a simple one, you have your roofing material, which could be roofing sheets, tiles, or shingles.
Okay, and in our project we use timber, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. So now we're almost coming to the final stages. What was stage 7?
Before we get excited about the final stages, I know that all of this process, especially the walls coming up, the roof coming on, usually you can see the progress.
Yes.
It's very quick, and it's like every week, every time you come back to site, something is happening.
Yes.
You're always getting pictures. If you're in the diaspora, you're receiving pictures of the progress.
Yeah.
It's about to slow down.
Why is that?
Well, the next stage is plastering.
Okay.
All right, and
as we've seen here.
yes, exactly, and that's what it is. It's plastering the exterior, the interiors, and once that's done, what you have is what's termed as a grey finish.
Okay, which is where we ended on our project.
Exactly.
Yeah, but why does that slow everything down?
Because the next stages are a lot more meticulous than the previous stages.
Okay, so now we're talking about stage 8.
Yes.
What is stage 8?
Stage 8 is the completion, pretty much. It's fittings and finishes.
Yes, yeah.
And this is where all the extra little detail goes into it. And it could be general. You could go with a simple overall finish, or you could start to go into specifics.
Right.
You want a certain type of finish on your plaster. You want a certain type of mosaic done. You want this type of bathroom, and so on. So then it's and certain fittings need to be put in by specialists as well, because this is where you probably say you're going with solar power. So you need someone to come in and make sure that the wiring is correct, with your batteries, etc.
Yeah. And actually, one thing I remember when I was doing my house was certain finishes have to be done in stages.
Yes.
So you can't do this part until you do that part.
Exactly.
And then you can't do that part until you do another part.
Yes.
And so that really slows it down.
Yes, it does. And then also, it also has to be coordinated during the build. For instance, putting conduits in so that the wiring can go in. All of that is done during the build.
Yes.
If you're going to have a smart home, you know, you need to have all the ducting done early, and the sizes of that needs to be put in. So there are a lot of little things that are also important to be aware of while the construction is taking place. And normally your architect will know this and will advise the contractor accordingly. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, and they would make sure that they have those specifications and details ready for them.
Yes, because I was just going to say, in this project, we actually had the conduits done during the build.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can't actually see them when you walk in.
No.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Yeah. All right, Ikli, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I think this is going to be so useful to people out there. Don't go anywhere. Please join us next week because I'm going to be doing a Q&A with Itwi. A lot of you sent in questions about building and he's going to be here to answer them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and also share it with other Zambians in your community. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification button so you don't miss any more videos in this series, which is going to be so great on building. Follow us as well on social media because we also have a lot going on there. But I would also like to know, are you thinking of building this year? Leave a comment in the section below and let's get talking. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.